Now, the chair of BMA Scotland, Dr. Ian Kennedy, recently said the whole health and social care system in Scotland is broken. There is no way that the NHS in Scotland can survive in its current form, can it?
Thank you, Rona. As you know, Health Minister and potential First Minister here in the making, hopefully one day, maybe when Nicola sees fit to stand down. But I can't agree that the NHS is broken. It's just not working. You know, I mean, there's many things that we can do to try and fix it, but it just doesn't work right at the moment. So we'll throw more money at it, we'll put more people in it, and then we'll try and make them actually do their jobs, and maybe that will help things.
How bad are things currently within the NHS in Scotland?
Rona, bad doesn't even start to hit the sides of it. It's an absolute disgrace. I mean, we've got people queuing up in hallways. We've got ambulances taking 11 hours to come and visit people. We've got people missing operations for like 5, 6, 7 years.
You knew it was going to be a tough winter. You knew that COVID was still hanging over. Shouldn't we have been prepared for that?
We were prepared, but there's only so much mitigation.
Well, we clearly weren't prepared for that.
Oh, just hold on a minute, Rona. It's not a question of failing to prepare. It's a question of, you know, doing proper planning. And you know what they say, isn't it? What they say, you know, fail to plan, fail to prepare, and you'll succeed. No, that's not what they say. That's not what they say, is it? No, anyway. But yeah, I mean, I can't accept that. We did prepare, but there's only so much you can do in the face of overwhelming odds that's been thrust upon us by this global pandemic that's taken away all our resources and made it very difficult.
But still well below the 95% target of patients.
Well, Rona, the 95% target was pre-COVID, and as you know, anything that was set in stone before before COVID just doesn't apply anymore, because all the goalposts have moved quite considerably. So we don't really need to give them any cognizance anymore. It's just a target. So we'll set new targets, and it's going to take us a wee while to get to the point where we can repair and resurge the NHS to become the once proud and true body that it really was, especially in Scotland, because, you know, we're great up here. We're great.
If you or any of your family, God forbid, got ill and you had to phone an ambulance, go to A&E, would you have confidence in the service you were going to get?
I mean, we did. We had to do that in Hogmanay.
Yeah, well, we did. We had to call out the vet, and the cat was really terribly sick. I don't know quite what happened to it, but the service was great, and we took it along to the animal hospital, and it was repaired and back with us the next day, no problem. It's as if it never happened. In fact, it gave me brilliant ideas, because the way their setup was working, it was way better than what we normally do in the NHS. So I thought maybe we could use some of the techniques and the tricks that they're doing to bring down waiting times, to help people in patient care, to get more people, you know. In fact, we could maybe just hire some vets. It's going to take years, though. Not weeks, not months, years.
You say years. What cost to society? I mean, people are already needlessly dying because of the state of some of the services we're getting, and you're saying it will take years.
Well, Rona, I've always been upfront. I've always said that I was completely incapable of making any changes in reasonable timescales. So a 5-year plan, I think, is quite fair. And it'll take years, and I probably won't be around for 5 years to see it through. So, you know, I can say what I like.
Okay, and we asked our viewers if they had any questions for you, and we've got lots. If you just want to pick up the iPad, Terry here has got a question about A&E.
I've never understood why the hospitals work 24/7 and GPs don't. That's bound to put more pressure on the A&E departments, because that's where people, the first thing they'll do. My question to you would be, has any thought been given to having GPs open at the same time as NHS hospitals?
What do you think of Terry's idea then?
Well, that's just ridiculous, isn't it, Rona? I mean, when would GPs ever consider coming out to visit people in their houses? When would they ever consider to coming out, you know, overnight, or if somebody was really ill, coming to their house and treating them there and then, and not, you know, not having people phone in? I mean, this is just crazy. GPs would never accept this. I mean, we couldn't get people to do that anymore anyway. I mean, this has never happened in the past. Never. Our model is quite firmly in the working on the basis that you phone to speak to a receptionist who will screen your call, tell you that you're actually all right, and call back if something goes wrong. And then if you phone back later on, and then they get call screened again, and you still have to insist. If you insist at that point, you might get to speak to a nurse. And then if you do speak to a nurse, you might get a call back from a doctor within about 4 hours or so. But by that point, hopefully your problem's gone away because you're no longer there.
Okay, we've got another question now, and this is from Helen about waiting lists.
My name is Helen Hanna, and I would like to ask Himza Yusuf, is there any hope of having my hip replacement surgery this year? I've been waiting for over 3 years for my hip replacement surgery, and we were promised last year that it would be looked at, and they said they're not even doing MD on the list. It's just really trauma and cancer patients that are able to have any surgery done. You know, we have to be kept informed and, you know, have an idea of when the surgery will be.
So how long is Helen going to have to wait? And people like Helen?
Well, first of all, Helen, you got to help yourself a wee bit, doll. Lose a few pounds. Take some weight off that hip, because it's going to last a wee bit longer if you take some weight off it, and then we can spin it out a bit longer. Because 3 years is nothing. Come on, what do you think we've been dead for the last 3 years? We've not done anything. So 3 years is nothing. Just wind back. So if you had to wait 3 or 4 years before, you're going to have to still wait another 3 or 4 years. So that's going to make it 6 or 7 years. That sounds reasonable to me. So there you go. I don't see the problem, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're having to wait, but you could always go private, because then you go like that, wouldn't you? Well, that's that, Helen. I mean, what more can I say? These people just, they want something for nothing. You think they were paying for this? You think it was a public service? It just doesn't work. Okay,
the next question, if you just want to swipe to the next one. So this is someone from the Scottish Ambulance Service. Now, they didn't want to give their name. They want to remain anonymous. So one of our producers has voiced this up, but let's hear what he's got to say.
I am a Scottish ambulance worker and have been for 15 years. More frequently, colleagues and I are having to work without a break because of the demands on the service. In January, I did a 15-hour shift without a break. It's a challenge. It's made me feel depressed and worthless within my job. Is this lawful? How will you ensure this doesn't keep happening?
I mean, that sounds untenable. I mean, that's shocking.
Untenable, Rona. I'm not quite sure what that means. Does that mean he has to wear like incontinence pants? Is this because he can't get a break, so he can't even go for a pee? Oh my God, I didn't realise it was that bad. I thought they could at least get to the toilet. You've got to work these guys hard though, because let's face it, they're slackers. If you don't work them hard, they're going to sit in their butt and eat Kit Kats and crack jokes, sitting in the front of their ambulance going, oh, look at us, let's turn the blue light on, I'm going for a fish supper. They could do all that kind of stuff, so we've got to work them hard. I can't have these people slacking. The NHS is broken, What we meant to do? You want me to fix it or not? So, stop bleating about it. Just get your nose to the grindstone and get your work done. That's just not how we rebuild.
The NHS in Scotland has set an all-time performance low under your watch. Do you still think you're the best person for the job?
Rona, let's be honest. I've never been the best person for any job that I've ever done. Come on, look at Justice Minister. Look at the mess I made there. Health Minister, look at the mess I'm making here. First Minister, maybe. Look at the mess I'll make there. I'm me. I just bumble through. I don't know what I'm doing.
People are really concerned about what's happening.
But you got to remember, Rona, this isn't just me that's making a mess of this, because the Labour government in Wales have made exactly the same mess, and the English government in England have made exactly the same mess. English government? Conservative government in English. I'm not even talking right now. I can't talk English. What the hell am I saying?
Health Secretary, thanks very much indeed for joining us in Scotland Tonight.
Thank you. I'm great.